destroyed me along with a divorce, the lack of health, because this was before I knew I had broken rods. I just knew my back hurt. I couldn't understand why, because they already had 6 surgeries.
Imagine being a UFC legend, Hall of Famer, 2-time tournament champion, the toughest man to ever step into the octagon, the guy with the iconic mustache that everyone remembers. Now imagine living in your truck, homeless, broken, 2 titanium rods stabbing you internally for 2 years because they snapped in half, trying to get cops to shoot you because the pain is so unbearable you'd rather die than keep living. This is the tragic story of Don the Predator Frye, a man who gave everything to MMA, who fought in the most brutal brawls in combat sports history, who entertained millions, and who was left destroyed by the sport he loved. Today, we're exposing the dark reality of what happens after the glory. The 45 surgeries, the brain hemorrhage, the medically induced coma, the divorce that took everything, and the UFC's complete abandonment of one of their pioneers. This isn't a feel-good comeback story. This is about a man who was broken by MMA and left to rot. This is about suicide attempts, about living in pain so severe you beg for death, about losing everything. Get ready, because Don Frye's story will haunt you. Before we get to the tragedy, you need to understand who Don Frye was. In 1996, Don Frye burst onto the UFC scene like a wrecking ball. UFC 8 tournament? He won it. Ultimate 96? Won that too. All in his first year of competition. This wasn't just some guy winning fights. This was a warrior with an iconic handlebar mustache, a no-nonsense attitude, and the toughness of 10 men. He looked like he walked straight out of an old Western movie and into the octagon to destroy people. But the fight that defined Don Frye, Pride 21, June 23, 2002, against Yoshihiro Takayama. For 6 minutes, these 2 men stood toe-to-toe and just punched each other in the face. No defense, no strategy, just pure, unadulterated violence. They grabbed each other's heads and threw bombs until one man couldn't continue. The referee had tears in his eyes watching it. The crowd went insane. It became the most iconic brawl in MMA history. Video games recreated it. Movies recreated it. It's the fight that everyone shows new MMA fans. Don Frye won that fight, but at what cost? That fight changed me, Frye would later say. I was never the same after that. And he wasn't. Because that fight, along with years of brutal matches in UFC Pride and New Japan Pro Wrestling, was destroying his body piece by piece. But Don didn't care. He was a warrior. Warriors don't quit. Warriors push through the pain. Warriors sacrifice everything for glory. And that's exactly what killed him inside. Let's talk about what MMA did to Don Frye's body. 45 to 50 surgeries. That's what Frye estimates he's had over his career. 45 surgeries, 27 just on his back. Multiple surgeries on both shoulders, both elbows, both knees, his hands, his neck, his ankles. But the back was the worst. The back is what nearly killed him. During his career, doctors put titanium rods in Don's spine to stabilize it, to keep him fighting, to keep him moving. It was supposed to help. But here's what happened. Those rods broke, snapped in half, and Don didn't know it. For a year and a half, maybe 2 years, he walked around with broken titanium rods stabbing him internally, scraping against his insides, creating scar tissue, causing infections. In his own words, I knew I was hurting. I hurt terribly, and I was living so miserably and was in so much pain. Think about that. A man who fought Yoshihiro Takayama in the most brutal brawl ever. A man who's been punched, kicked, and beaten by the best fighters in the world. And he says he's living in misery and terrible pain. That tells you how bad it was. Finally, he goes to get it checked out. The X-rays reveal the horror. Broken rods, stabbing him for years. So they schedule surgery. A 3-hour surgery just to clean up the scar tissue from the rods stabbing and scraping his insides. Then another surgery to replace the rods. And that's when everything went wrong. During the recovery from the surgery, Don Frye had a brain hemorrhage. The doctors put him in a medically induced coma. for 3 weeks in the ICU while they tried to stop the bleeding in his brain. But it gets worse. While he's in the coma, he develops pneumonia, then a spinal infection. Either one could have killed him. Frye jokes about it now. Would have killed a normal man, but just a bad weekend for the donger. But that's not a joke. That's trauma. That's a man trying to laugh about the fact that he almost died because MMA destroyed his body. But the physical pain? That was only half the nightmare. While Don was dealing with broken rods and brain hemorrhages, his personal life was imploding. His divorce. It didn't just end his marriage. It took everything. The divorce fucked me up so much. I lost everything, Frye said. Everything. His money, his house, his possessions, gone. And then, to make it even more devastating, he lost his horse. A horse he'd owned for 24 years. Almost a quarter century with this animal. And he lost it in the divorce. For a guy like Don Frye, who grew up around horses, who lived that cowboy lifestyle, losing that horse was like losing a family member. The combination of the physical pain, the broken body, the financial ruin, and the emotional devastation, it broke him. And that's when Don Frye tried to kill himself. Not once, not twice. 2 or 3 times he tried suicide by cop, trying to get police officers to shoot him. I tried getting the cops to shoot me 2 or 3 times, Frye revealed. God bless them. Good old boys. They were fans. They knew who I was. They didn't pull the trigger when they could have. Those cops saved his life. They recognized Don Frye. They knew he was a legend. And instead of shooting him, they helped him. But think about what it takes for a man like Don Frye to get to that point. This is a guy who's faced the most dangerous fighters on earth, who's been beaten, broken, and battered for decades, who prides himself on being tough. And he's literally begging cops to end it for him. That's not weakness. That's what chronic pain and loss does to a human being. It destroys them from the inside out. So where did all this leave Don Frye? Homeless. I'm homeless right now, Frye said in 2017. So I don't have a girlfriend, don't have a job, don't have a family, and I got half my healthy back. So I'm halfway to one. Living in his truck. A UFC Hall of Famer. A man who fought for the biggest promotions in the world. A legend, living in his truck. And you know what the saddest part is? He has to hide it from his ex-wife. As far as the ex-wife knows, he adds, because if she finds out, she'll be asking for money. Money he doesn't have, because MMA didn't pay him what he was worth, because the medical bills from 50 surgeries destroyed whatever savings he had, because the divorce took the rest. This is a man who gave everything to the sport, who created some of the most memorable moments in MMA history, who inspired generations of fighters. And the UFC? They let him live in a truck. Now, to be fair, Don Frye was inducted into the UFC Hall of Fame in 2016. That was a bright spot for him. He said it saved my life. It was something that happened at the right time. The recognition helped. The honor helped. But it didn't pay his medical bills. It didn't give him back his health. It didn't give him a place to live. And that's the brutal reality of early MMA. Guys like Don Frye built the sport. They took the risks. They destroyed their bodies. They made the UFC what it is today. And in return, they got a plaque and a handshake. Meanwhile, the UFC is worth billions. Let's go back to that Pride 21 fight. The legendary brawl with Yoshihiro Takayama. The fight that made Don Frye famous in Japan. The fight everyone remembers. That fight cost him everything. Frye admits he was never the same after it. The damage he took, the injuries he sustained, it changed him permanently. But you want to know the tragic part? Yoshihiro Takayama, his opponent, had it worse. In 2017, Takayama was wrestling for Dramatic Dream Team Pro Wrestling. He attempted a sunset flip. Something went wrong. He severed his spinal cord. Takayama is now paralyzed from the shoulders down. He can't move. He can't walk. He's trapped in his body. Don Frye visits him. And when he saw Takayama in that condition, his heart broke. When I saw him laying there, my heart broke for him, Frye said. He told me to knock it off. He is in good spirits. Better spirits than I could be if it were me in that bed. Takayama, even paralyzed, was grateful. He thanked Frye for making him famous. And Frye said, "I told him it was the other way around. No one remembers what I did in the UFC. But everyone who knows I was a fighter, they always want to hear about the fight with Takayama-san." That's the tragedy. The fight that made them both legends also destroyed them both. One paralyzed, one living with chronic pain and broken dreams. My health sucks, and Takayama, God bless him for what he is living with. But in that fight, we were the kings of the universe. Kings of the universe for 6 minutes, then a lifetime of suffering. So what's the current state of Don Frye? He survived. Somehow, against all odds. He lives on a small property in Catalina, Arizona, 2 acres backing up to the mountains. He has his pit bull Quinn, 2 horses, Puzzle and Funk. His 2 daughters help take care of him. He's not rich. His net worth is estimated at around $2 million, which sounds like a lot until you realize he's had 50 surgeries. Medical debt is crippling. He gave up drinking, found some peace, says, "Nothing ruins my day anymore." But you can hear it in his voice. He's a lot darker now. Getting ripped off for a few $1 million, betrayed and lied to and all that, it will change your opinions on a few things. This is a man who loved MMA, who gave everything to it, who created moments that will live forever. And MMA broke him, left him homeless, in pain, attempting suicide, living in his truck. The UFC put him in the Hall of Fame. Great. But they didn't pay his medical bills. They didn't give him health insurance. They didn't make sure their pioneer was taken care of. And that's the real tragedy of Don Frye. Not the surgeries, not the pain, not even the homelessness. It's the fact that the sport he built forgot about him, used him up, spit him out, and moved on to the next generation while leaving him to suffer. Don Frye is still alive, still tough, still that iconic mustache-wearing badass. But he's a shadow of what he was, and not because of age, because MMA took everything from him and gave almost nothing back. So when you watch those old pride fights, when you see him punch Takayama in the face over and over, when you marvel at his toughness and warrior spirit, remember what it cost. It cost him his health, his money, his sanity, almost his life. Don the Predator Frye, UFC Hall of Famer, living legend, homeless veteran of MMA's wars. And the sport he helped build? It's worth billions. While he lived in a truck. That's not a legacy. That's a tragedy.